Children are headed back to school, some in person, some virtually. Well, doctors are worried because while teachers are about to see these children, doctors have not seen them. Reports show that well visits and immunizations have dropped significantly during the pandemic. Joining us to talk about the risks that poses, Dr. Avril Beckford, Chief Pediatric Officer at Wellstar Health System. Thanks so much for joining us. We do want to begin with this. Is it safe to go to a doctor right now during this pandemic? A lot of parents are worried about that.
Absolutely. It's not only safe, but it's really important. We're fortunate that we have great partnerships with parents and they are coming in for their checkups. Deaths from illnesses other than COVID that are immunization preventable, like whooping cough, Haemophilus influenza meningitis, and pneumococcal meningitis, as well as meningococcal meningitis, are very important. The last thing we want to do is to see people getting sick from things that are totally preventable by immunizations now. In addition to which, for sick visits, children who have severe asthma, children who have fevers due to strep throat or other viruses, we really want to be sure that parents don't delay care.
There is a small fraction of people who don't like vaccinations, period, no matter what. But now that we're in COVID-19 and with the pandemic, and children will be studying, a lot of them studying for school from home, does a child need a vaccine if they're not going to go back into a building and do everything online?
Thank you so much. Great question. Absolutely, they should stay on track with their immunizations. We don't want their immunity to fall down from the immunizations they've already had. But remember, they can still get illnesses either passed on from their parents or, in the case of the infants, if they're around parents and grandparents who've not had their whooping cough immunization up to date, the little ones can be vulnerable. So important to keep them all up to date on their immunizations, even if they're virtual.
And Dr. Beckford, you touched on it there, but what happens if your child does miss a vaccine? Can they catch up immediately?
They can catch up, and it's so important. Try to get them as close to the regular schedule as recommended, because that gives you the ultimate immunity. But there's always an opportunity to catch up if they've missed a dose. And so that's what we would advise. And could I please remind at the same time my wonderful parents and grandparents of the children for whom I care, remember that your children need you. And so it's important for the adults to get their immunizations and checkups too, against pneumococcus, against zoster, and also to check their own MMR immunity, which can wane if you're between 55 and 67. Those antibodies might be waning at this time.
Well, Doctor, we certainly appreciate your insight. Dr. Avril Beckford, Chief Pediatric Officer at Wellstar Health System, your insight has been valuable. We appreciate your time.